Welcome to the Jointery podcast, a podcast where we study the lives of study the lives of two dads trying to find the balance between the families, hobbies and work. This week on the Jointery, we discover the answers to the questions such as...
Then I will have a conversation with you the next day, and I'll be like, hey, how'd it go? Da, 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 da. And you'll be like, I didn't do anything Dre told me to do. And I did it completely different.
And it didn't work. So
let's search for the meaning of life as it had never been witnessed before. The Jointery podcast.
Boom.
Boom.
I love it when we start these things and we're just like, boom.
Yeah. It's like, are we started? Yeah, we started like 2 seconds ago, bro. Where have you been at for the last 3 seconds?
Man.
Welcome to the Jointery.
Dude, it's good to be back, dude.
Yeah, man. We're bringing it all together here, man.
Yeah,
this is what it's all about.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is all about.
This is exactly what it's all about, dude. Oh my god, this week has been.
Should we introduce ourselves? I feel like are we gonna have an intro that has our recorded stuff with our names and stuff in there, or should we be like, hi, this week, just as every week, this is Luke.
Well,
I don't know.
This is Luke of the Garage, and you're here with Conroy Creations. Yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know how we want to do that, but we'll figure that out.
I mean, the only person who's going to listen to this is my mom, anyways, so it's fine.
I think my mom will listen. Although I don't know, she's not very technically savvy. Although she is good with the FaceTime.
Oh, really?
Oh, I get those FaceTime calls. Like she's got me on the speed dial. But FaceTime is amazing. I know we're kind of like just getting right into this, but it's incredible that we're here now is basically what I'm trying to say. Like, I thought that was going to be like when I watched the Jetsons, I was like, that's the future, right? Flying cars, talking to people on the phone, face to face, you know what I mean? And now it's 2022. And, we've had FaceTime probably for what? I don't know, 5 years, 7 years.
Dude, I think FaceTime's been around. I mean, I feel like I should Google this, but FaceTime's probably been around
10 years,
like more like close to it, dude. Because like that was one of the first features of the iPhone that I remember. That they didn't like introduce FaceTime. I think FaceTime was like an original feature.
Jesus, man, we're so old. When was the first iPhone? When did that come out? Like in.
Oh, dude, it's like 13 years old now or so, 12 years old, something like that.
Jesus. I can't believe that we're here, man. That's fucking nuts, dude. Technology. Anyways, it blows me away.
Well, what do you, this is a conversation I had with a buddy of mine, right? What do you think, how do you think our kids are going to be communicating when they're our age?
Yeah, I don't know, because I was thinking about that recently because I was talking to somebody else about the whole idea of the Google glasses and the those new glasses that I keep saying new, like it just happened. Google glasses, those have been around probably I'm the worst at this. They've probably been around for like 8 years. I don't know how long it's been around, but
like that microwave just was invented, bro. Like
the microwave. Exactly.
How were people reheating burritos before?
All I'm saying is that technology, the glasses, I think is pretty nuts, right? So I feel like, is that the next step, like where we're all walking around with visors on, some sort of thing that goes over our eyes, so there's a screen in front of us that we're seeing, and we're able to communicate that way. I mean, is it going to be a hologram on the watch? What do you think?
So like, okay, well, first of all, have you seen those Ray-Ban glasses that had like, I think they were Ray-Bans where they had like the built-in camera and they had like basically you could be in a city and you could be like, hey, what am I looking at? And the glasses will identify where your position is and the angle of them and be like, oh, you're looking at the Chrysler building, right?
Wow, that's insane.
I think it was Ray-Ban, but I think, look, I'm a Star Wars guy, so obviously I'm thinking holograms is the way it's going to be, like wrist mounted holograms, like projectors, like, I think that's it. And I think that some idiot is going to be the one to invent like a hologram like that, where like you can't really like they could look around your room, right? So like you could be sitting there, you know, and they're gonna be like, you know, coming to your call and they're gonna be like looking at your room and be like, dude, is that like underwear on the back of your chair? Like, what the hell is that? Like, you know, like like see around, like see the stuff you don't want to see. Like, and then like the kids are gonna be like, you know, our parents had it so good because when they did video calls, like they could hide everything, right? Like if
Yeah.
you saw my desk right now, my desk is a hot mess.
Oh, dude, the table I'm
Like
sitting. Yeah, the table I'm sitting at is destroyed.
I can barely fit this laptop on this desk I'm sitting at. Like there's just so much stuff.
We had this clever idea that we're gonna record this podcast while our kids were at school and you know give us all the time we had, you know, no interruptions, and all of a sudden this week we set it for Friday and we're like, we're gonna do a Friday 11 a.m. perfect, no problems, it'll be perfect. 11 a.m. my time, by the way. I'm in California. First off, for those of you who don't know, I'm in California, Southern California, and Luke here is in where are you exactly?
I'm in Oak Park, which is like a skip outside of Chicago.
Okay, so we're on the opposite sides of the country, basically, in well, ish. And for those of you who don't know your geography,
People don't know where Chicago is. Is that what you're saying?
You don't. I mean, look. Let's be honest. It's not California.
Dude,
everybody knows where California is.
I'm not like from Lincoln, Nebraska, bro. It's like, you know, you know.
Chicago though it's in a state, right, where it's. I couldn't tell you where Illinois is on the map. If I had to guess where Illinois is, I would be like, I know it's somewhere in the middle. Ish.
Seriously?
It's gotta be
like
Illinois. Okay, Michigan it's near Michigan, right? You're close to Michigan.
We share Lake Michigan together.
Okay,
but like, okay, so but that's interesting, right? So like the concept of like your geography sucks in the Midwest, right?
It totally does.
Yeah, I would say mine gets real sketchy on the East Coast. Like everything up northeast, like by New York, Boston, like that whole like New Hampshire, Maine stuff. I have a really good buddy, you know, one of my best friends lives there, and it's like he's like, we were there, and it's like I don't know where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, I have family. I know I have family in Michigan, obviously. So I know I've flown into Chicago and driven from Chicago to Michigan. But obviously I wasn't driving and I don't know where the hell we were in, you know, I don't know if it's right next to it, if it's, you know, so I was always confused on where exactly it was. So yeah, I mean, there's like what, 3 or 4 states that are all like right there, right? You got Chicago's not a state. You got Illinois, Indiana's right there too, right?
Well, Illinois is a little bit, it's a long, narrow state, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So, like I could be in Iowa in, I think, 3 hours, something like that. So we're bordered by Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana, and then down south, it's like Missouri. And then like right at the tip, it's like, you know, there's a lot there. I'm probably missing one. My geography isn't that great.
I have it easy. I got 2 states. I mean, Arizona's barely touching us, but it's mainly Nevada, and then above us, you know.
Yeah, but your state is almost the entire West Coast. So,
well, that's why I say, like, everybody knows where California is. It's easy. It's just go as far left as you can go, and
when you hit the end, you're there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Wait. So let's go back. I want to go back to innovation, right? Because something happened this week that came up that's all about innovation, which is the Maker Collab, right?
We never even finished talking about why we're doing this. Our kids are both home this week. We didn't even finish that thought. We thought we were being clever. We thought we were going to be clever and do this podcast when no kids are around. My kids are both on COVID protocol, staying home, so they can't be there. So they're here during this, and they luckily haven't come out and bothered us yet. And your kids' school got shut down, right, or something like
that. They had an adaptive pause, which is actually, I really respect it. It's they basically said, hey, look, this Omicron is going crazy. And some of the other schools in the neighborhood are having a hard time. Our school's not bad at all. But they said, hey, look, like and honestly, it's funny. The health department was like, the Oak Park Health Department was like, hey, let's take 2 weeks off. And that's where they started a negotiation with the school district. And they settled on 5 days. So they decided to take off yesterday, today, and Monday's a holiday. So they're like, there's your 5 days. Hopefully we'll all come back and we'll slow the curve here. But it's very interesting. So yeah, but you know, my kids aren't here right now.
Oh, they're not? They're gone.
Oh yeah. My mother-in-law is a former teacher, and she offered to homeschool them today, or not homeschool them, but manage their remote learning, which, I mean, like, what's better than a teacher to do that, right?
So no days off at the Gelman house. I mean, the kids are home. They still have to do work.
I mean, well, like if the kids were here, they'd be in school right now. I mean, it's remote learning.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I got you. My kids are.
Wait, your school's just no school at all?
No, well, my kids got sent home because they can't be there because of the whole. My daughter got exposed by somebody in her class who had COVID.
Oh, right.
So she got sent. She has to stay home because obviously my son and her are so in close contact, and he goes to the same school. He had to stay home as well. So they're both being quarantined for the next 5 days. You know what I mean?
Like they don't have they can't remote dial into class or something like that.
No, there's no remote dialing in for this for our school. What they did do is send home a few work packets, and you know, but of course, you know, my daughter finished the work packet in like the first hour she was home. So she's like, I'm done. I don't have to do any more homework while I'm at home. You know what I mean? So. But
that's wild, dude. Yeah. Like my kids' school, like they are totally prepared for, they're prepared for all of this, right? So they so we moved last year, and partially was because of the Chicago public school system's relationship with the city of Chicago is horrendous. So CPS is just the worst, and I don't want to get too much into it. It may turn this into a political thing, but it's a good reason why we moved from the city to the closest suburb that had a decent school system. And these guys, we moved at the end of the school year, and they gave both of my kids iPads.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And at the end of the school year, they were like, hey, just keep the iPads. And when school starts, you'll do it. And as school started, they would send us reminders in the beginning. They're like, keep those iPads charged, because if we go on remote learning, it could be a day's notice. We want you to be prepared.
Yeah.
School doesn't stop. They basically on Wednesday decided to do this, to shut it down on Tuesday, let us know on Wednesday. And they had whole schedules for Thursday and Friday for the entire day emailed to us a day before.
Wow.
So we were completely prepared to keep the kids on track in school. And dude, they were, outside of a couple breaks where they kind of tapped me on the shoulder, they were in school the whole day. It was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, it's impressive.
I
got to say that.
That is impressive. I mean, our schools aren't set up that way. I mean, I got a call, come pick up some homework, and I went there and they handed me 3 packets each for the kids and a home test. But this is an interesting thing.
Wait, a home COVID test?
Yeah, home COVID test. So
oh, wow.
out here, you guys, well, you told me your kids get tested weekly, right, at school?
Yeah, the school tests them.
Yeah, okay. So no, I was just saying that's interesting.
Yeah, they test them all the time, and we get regular updates of if anybody tests positive, and they got it they got a very section off. So my daughter and my son could only hang out with the kids that are at that table in their class.
Oh,
right?
Wow. Yeah.
And so they eat lunch together, they go on recess together. And that way, if one kid gets sick, they just sit the table out, right? They don't have to send home the whole classroom.
Okay? Yeah. That's how ours is set up too. That's why Penny was only sent home, you know what I mean? Somebody in her group was infected, you know what I mean? So That's why she got sent home. But no, the interesting thing I was going to say is you guys get tested all the time. Our school doesn't do that, but because of this 3-day weekend that we have, and this whole thing, the whole thing is blowing up with the Omicron and whatnot. The superintendent of the school sent us a message. Every kid in the school is going home today with a home test, with the idea that on Monday morning or evening or whatever, they want everybody to test before coming back to school on Tuesday. So like they're trying to do like a mass testing of the school all at once, which I thought was interesting. You know what I mean? It's just interesting how that worked out on the same time my kids are dealing with this. So like it looks like they would have had to test anyways on Monday for Tuesday regardless. So it's just funny how that fell into the same thing. It's weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. So anyways, look, we're getting sidetracked, dude. So here's the deal. Okay. Yeah, look. I mean, like, dude, this is what happens. You know, you get two dudes with barely any attention span. We're just going to talk about whatever.
Well, this is about our families and stuff. We're not off track. We're just, we're a little deep into the weeds. I see that. I see what you're saying.
Well, like, look, I mean, if we're going to publish this podcast, like you're right on track when you say we should probably tell people like what this podcast is and why we decided to do it.
Yeah, that's true. We should probably get into that, but I
don't know.
I was looking at this as our second episode. So,
well, oh, dude, are we counting that first one?
I don't know, dude. But I that's how in my head I was thinking. Last time we explained the podcast, we don't need to re-explain it again. But I guess if we're not looking at this as our second episode, we should think of this as a practice episode where we're introducing the podcast to everybody each time.
So, look, man, we're gonna have to introduce the podcast every time until you settle on one of the logos I sent you.
Well, oh, that's true. That is true. I like the logo, man. I talked to Debbie about that, by the way. She likes it as well. She did mention that she could take a swing at it, if we're interested, just to get a fresh look on it. You know what I mean? So we're not that far into this.
I have serious commitment issues, bro. Like I'm barely committed to anything. So except for my wife and mostly my kids.
I was gonna say. Not all the way, but I've heard numerous times you say they're this close.
they will test me. So,
anyways,
but okay, all right. So look, here's the point, right? So this is the jointery, right? We're bringing it all together here, and it's mostly two dads who are trying to balance life between their shop, their families, and their work. Ben and I both have jobs. Ben is a producer for a radio station in LA, right? Did I get that right?
I used to. I'm not currently. Right now, I'm. That's what I did prior, but now I do remote broadcasting, engineering, sound engineering. Yeah, I do remote broadcasting for sports and television and things like that.
Yeah, so if you see like a USC game and you look in the end zone, Ben might be there. So
I will be there pregame.
You will.
You'll see
pregame. Yeah, and then I am a commercial real estate agent, and we both have shops. Ben is Condo Roasted Creations. He makes all kinds of really cool stuff, ranging from cutting boards to helmet racks to mallets and other fun things. I'm Luke in the garage. Should I be letting you talk over this, or should I just keep going?
Me?
You're like looking at me on the camera, like you look like you're doing a really good job. I was just listening.
No, I was just I thought you were trying to. I just letting you go, man. You were introing us. I was like, this guy's doing a great job. I'm just gonna let him do it.
You know what's funny is that this is actually appropriate for this segment, right? I was stoned last night, right? And somebody had asked me to send a bio, right? So this is the bio that I sent them, right?
All right. Yeah, I'm ready.
So I'm Luke in the garage, maker of mostly wood things. Got into woodworking at the beginning of COVID. Was exclusively dating plywood for a while, but now have a open relationship. It's complicated. Father of 2 aspiring comedians. And then it's all about stretching myself creatively while having fun. And also I don't know how to take myself seriously. That was the nutshell that I gave him. I'm like anytime, like, I don't think I'm important enough to have a real bio. So I'm like, this is me.
What's the bio for exactly?
It's for another podcast.
On
Tuesday I'm going to be on, or we're recording, and they make podcast, which is,
that's a big one, right?
I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
It's Luke and Priscilla, which they're the ones who started Maze for Makers.
Yeah, I know who they are.
Yep. So they posted, and I always volunteer to be on podcasts, and I liked it so much I have a podcast now. So
I had to start a podcast to be on a podcast. Nobody finds me interesting. I'm just being honest. I don't know what it is. No, I'm just joking. But no, I'm always the host. You know what I mean? I'm never the bell of the ball.
Always the bridesmaid.
Yeah. No, it's true though. I've done 2 podcasts. I did one with Debbie when we first started this whole woodworking thing through a friend. Anyways, I did that podcast like a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago now. Geez. And then the only other podcast I've ever been on was the Behind the Maker podcast as a guest host. and so now I'm here. And thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast, Luke.
Wait, so wait, you've only hosted podcasts? You've not actually been on a podcast before?
I've never been a guest. I've only hosted. Yeah.
Well, you're still not a guest.
I'm still not a guest. Unless we count it as you talking to me and interviewing me, I'll just be a recurring. I'm just thinking of me as a recurring guest. That's how I want to feel. I want to feel like I'm just a recurring guest.
That's perfect. No, I had to badger Nicole and Tiffany to be on the Behind the Makers podcast. I was like, come on. I'm like, you guys have some really good people on there. Let me on that thing. And I have been asked to be in a few. There was that one for this guy named Jeremy Cross, a really nice dude. And I forget the name of the podcast now, but it was sponsored by sawblade.com. There was that one. And then there's the one with Drew Austin and dude, I'm so horrible at remembering things, dude. This is too much. I have, you know, I put a
marijuana wins again.
Yeah, right. I put a section on my website with links to all the podcasts I've been on, only because I didn't want to forget. It's a section on my website for me. So
mine would be really short.
Yeah, everything I've hosted would be yours. Dude, you hosted like you co-hosted like what 50 In the Shop lives or something like that.
Yeah, this year we're close. We're wrapping up on a year in February. So, and we've only missed 1 week. So yeah, it's close to 50 something, I guess, live broadcasts. So yeah, that's fun. That's a good, you guys should check that out, by the way. Thursdays on Instagram, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern.
So anyway, yeah, let me just shut you down and let's move on from that. So anyways, Ben and I started this because we have everything in common. His kids our kids are the same age. You have an older daughter and a younger son.
Yep.
I mean, like there's a lot of, except for the fact that you could have your garage door open year round. I mean, that's basically the only difference.
Yeah. What's the temp where you're at today?
Oh, dude, it's really nice outside. It's in the mid 30s. So no jacket.
85 and sunny here. That's right. 85 and sunny.
You would think that people in the Midwest would care about that.
I say it all the time. I do not understand why you people choose to live where it's freezing cold 7 months out of the year or however long it is that you guys deal with that. It's just like,
there's 2 reasons why. Seriously, there's 2 reasons why people live where it's cold. Either 1, they're from there, right? Or 2, there was a job there. Nowadays, that's the reason.
Yeah. but you at some point in your lifetime, you're old enough to get up and go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, just because you were born there doesn't mean you got to stay there.
Well, we have too much family to leave here. So
no, I know.
I couldn't, like, if I could talk my whole entire family to move into, like, and all my friends to move to, like, somewhere warm. Yeah, hell yeah. So
I say this, and I'm like the first one who wants to get out of California. You know what I mean? Just because, like, I think about it all the time. I'm like, dude, like, it's beautiful here. Yes, don't get me wrong, but there are way too many people, and it is nothing but cars and traffic and stuff like that. So, like, getting out of here is something that I really, really want to do. But then I think about, do I want to go somewhere where it snows all the time? I don't know if I want to do that either.
Where would you go? If you were to move out of California, where would you go?
I don't know. I had like a.
Would you stay in the United States?
Yes, I would definitely stay in the United States just because I don't speak any other languages.
I bet you're going to say it because of cheeseburgers or something.
Well, cheeseburgers too. I mean, let's be real. Although McDonald's is everywhere. Let's be real. You can get a burger anywhere, and it's not a good burger, but it's a burger. No, I have this really like romantic thing with the Pacific Northwest. I like that area.
Like Portland or something like that, or
Seattle, even Oregon. You know what I mean? Like Bend, Oregon. I've been there and I really liked it.
Bend,
Oregon. Yep. And I don't know. Idaho sounds interesting, although it snows a lot there too. So I'm not really sure.
Because of Trevor.
A little bit because of Trevor.
Did you know where Idaho was before you met Trevor?
I did know where it's the potato state. I know that much. Interesting shape too, Idaho. If as far as shapes go of states, I find that to be an intriguing one. Yeah, it's my brain.
I think Nebraska kind of looks like an orbital sander.
Nebraska does kind of look like an orbital sander. That's hilarious. I never thought of it that way.
I should tell we should tell the another woodshop guys about that. So wait,
isn't that where
are they all from Nebraska?
No, they're not all from Nebraska.
Coffee's there, dude. Like they're in like stuff together all the time.
It's because they
feel like they are.
They travel like they're crazy, man. They'll travel just to hang out. They like each other that much. So they'll go like travel halfway across the country just to hang out with each other.
If woodworkers were a band, they'd be a band for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. They would be I don't even know what kind of band I compare them to, but
I don't know, but Daniel Dunlap would be the front man because I saw him sing that Roxanne song and oh my God, he's got talent.
Mute your mic. Unmute your mic, Ben. That's probably a good idea. Dude, have you seen just because we're talking about him or them for a second, have you seen Mike? Have you seen the weight loss on that kid? Oh my gosh.
I honestly thought I was when I first saw it, I was like, has he always been that skinny? And then I was like, I hope he's well.
No, I just was like, wow, man, he looks
great.
Yeah, he does. Blew me away. I just saw him on a live the other day and I hadn't seen him in months and months and months. And I was just like, whoa, that's a whole different person. It's like he lost the whole person.
I also followed him for like 6 months before I knew he was bald or he shaves his head. Like, cause he's always wearing hats and stuff. So he took a hat off one time and I was like, holy shit, the beard does not match the top. I was like, what is going on there? I didn't know what to expect, but like, yeah.
So what's going on with you and in your family life right now, and anything crazy with the kids? Anything outside of the whole COVID thing? Anything fun? I know you guys have been doing some 3D printing.
Yes, I would say the excitement this week for the kids is been a mix between 3D printing, getting this microphone, which they come in my office and they're like, hey, let me record some stuff. And I'm like, what are you going to record? And Bubs came in the other day and started recording jokes. And I'm just doing like voice memos, which my mom got pissed at me for deleting.
That's gold, dude. You got to keep that because 20 years from now, you could play it back for them. You know what I mean? Like, remember these jokes that you used to tell when he's up there actually, killing, you know what I mean? That'd be hilarious.
It would be hilarious, but I'm also like, I record so much stuff of the kids and everything. Unless I'm going to edit it later, I just delete it.
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's how it is now. Anyways. So the 3D printer has been running nonstop, except for I didn't print anything today because of this podcast, because I tested the audio earlier and the fan off the printer was so loud that I was like, let me just not print this morning, which I have to print a blade for the Luke Skywalker lightsaber, which I'm giving to my brother. He doesn't know about it yet. And I'm confident that he won't even know I won't even tell him about this podcast until I give it to him.
Dude, that thing's incredible, man. The ones that you've made so far are amazing. Did you finish Ellie's with the blade? The pink one?
Yeah. I finished hers, which was fun. I learned a little bit more about the printer, which was cool. But it's such an easy tool to run that, like, once you get it dialed in, which is not that hard to do, like, it's pretty much like you just hit print and go. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So yeah, with the family, that's a big one. The kids going to the grandma's today for the remote learning was a big thing this week. And then Bubs set plans with friends of ours for Saturday on his own. He which I thought was pretty funny. He invited some of my friends over to make him pie. So that's happening.
How did he get a hold of them to set this up?
So we have a couple really close couple friends, and one of them, like, we vacationed together a bunch, and the last trip we went on in Michigan, my friend made pie every day. Right. Yeah. So Bubs was eating pie every day, and like, he's kind of complained that his pie everyday lifestyle has really diminished. So we're in the car and he was like, hey, he's like, Lena made some really good pie. I'd like to call her and thank her. And we're like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. So I throw on the video chat and I throw it in the back seat, and he's like, hey, he's like, I really like the pie. He goes, I want you to come over this weekend and make me pie and pasta. And she was like, well, we don't have plans. He was like, good. How's Saturday? I was like, dude, what do you? Okay, cool.
He's a man on a mission, man. You know what I mean?
Dude, look, when we first started having kids, I told Jackie, I was like, honestly, one of the things I want to teach the kids is how to get what they want. Right. It's a salesperson.
Yeah.
It's something that salespeople, if you've done sales before, you basically spend all of your time trying to talk people into things, and you start to learn how to get your unfair share of things.
Yeah.
So, like, I wanted to teach my kids that skill, and asking for it is 90% of it. So he knows how to get what he wants.
Yeah.
My daughter is a master manipulator.
So it's happening. He got them to come over and make him pie.
Yeah, they're coming over tomorrow. She's making apple pie and pasta for him.
My gosh, cool.
This
kid might take over the world, man. We got to be careful. If
my kids are up to something, The funny part is that, like, so we do that front porch weather all the time,
Yeah.
And, so a couple times they've met people that I'm friends with that they haven't met before, and they watch the front porch weather all the time. So they see the kids and they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know you. You're like famous. Right.
Yeah.
And look, to that one person, my kids are kind of famous, I guess.
Yeah.
But like in the kids at first when they said that, like they get kind of like embarrassed and like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. They really don't understand how Instagram works to begin with.
Yeah.
And so now I have them saying no autographs, please. No autographs.
That's so good. Oh
Yeah.
God. Oh, it's hilarious, dude.
What's going on with your family this week besides the quarantine?
The quarantine, dude, my kids are just they're crazy. They're both well, mainly my son, he's like super hardcore into Minecraft. So he likes to build these like super elaborate castles and stuff like that. And he's 6, and his attention to detail for these things are like, it's astounding. You know what I mean? It blows me away. Like he, Dad, sit down and look at this. And he'll take me through these castles where he has multiple rooms inside the castle, like with stairs going down into another room. And then he's got, torches lit around the walls. He's got a TV. I mean, it just blows my mind, you know what I mean? Because I don't have that type of attention to detail at 44 years old, you know what I mean? And he's, 6, so like it's pretty impressive. But he's constantly doing that and showing me those things. And my daughter is, always into something else, constantly wanting to do this, and they're FaceTiming people all the time. Like, the funniest part about it is like I get text messages from my sister as like updates, like, the conversation, she'll be in a mid conversation with my son on the phone or my daughter on the phone, and she'll be texting me like, your son's hilarious, whatever, like da 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 da, like it's just funny, man. They're just so. That's why I was kind of tripping out on the whole FaceTime thing that we were talking about earlier. It's just because they're so connected now. Also, I'm buying a new truck, and
you ordered it online, right?
Yeah, man, we went with Carvana, and
have you seen the truck you bought? Have you seen it in person yet?
I have not physically with my own eyes seen the truck, no, which is crazy, right? And I personally didn't like. I wasn't like super excited to go this route, but Debbie really wanted to try it. She's like, I just want to try it. And, I think it'll be, kind of cool. And I've heard good things and whatnot. And I was like, okay, so we go for it. We order the truck, getting a Dodge Ram 1500. I had the same truck prior. I'm just getting an updated version. I'm getting a 10-year.
It has Bluetooth.
It has Bluetooth. That's basically the difference. And it's cool though. I'm excited, but this whole experience has just been a nightmare, man. And it's like, and it's not a nightmare on the sense that like part of it was mainly because operator error. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. We checked the wrong boxes. We did, we thought we were doing this. We did that wrong. And we had to jump through all these hoops to get to this truck, but that was mainly on our fault. But then, delivery, you have to get these things delivered, right? That's the whole thing, is like it's a delivery service. They come drop it off. They do have an option to drive to a location that has one of those cool slot machine car things that they have for Carvana. I don't know if you've seen them, the commercial.
You like win a car?
They have it. They have these huge car vending machines. I said slot machine before, but it's a vending machine, and you basically walk up to it and you put a coin in and you pull the thing, and your car comes down from this vending machine down to the bottom of it, and it comes out and you get your car. That's like the shtick of this whole.
You get to pick the car?
Well, you buy the car in advance and it gets delivered to this vending machine, and then you go to the vending machine and you pick it out.
Oh, so wait, so it's like a giant version of those lockers at Home Depot that when you order stuff and like they're like, yeah, it's in locker number 6. So you go to Home Depot and you so it's like that kind of thing. So like you're gonna go to a facility and you're gonna they're going to give you a giant coin to stick in a machine, and then your pickup truck's going to spit out?
Well, that's what you can do. That's an option. I didn't go that option because I didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted the truck delivered to me because that's the other option. You can just have it delivered to your house, right? And so that's the option I went with. And why?
Wait.
Why are you asking?
Wait. Before I ask why, what's the price difference in these two options that you have?
It's like $600.
Which one's more expensive?
Which one do you think's more expensive? The fucking fun one where you get to go pick the coin in the slot, and
they'll bring you the car for free, or you could shoot it out of a vending machine for $600.
Yeah.
Can you finance that $600? So is it like an extra 50 cents on your payment, or is it like, no, it's an extra $600 cash?
I don't have that answer necessarily, but I think it's just, I don't know. I heard the extra costs and I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not paying $600 to go play a vending machine. I know that's,
but like, do you have like a chance to win like upgrades for your car, or like
that would be cool.
Like,
that would be cool.
Get like a Carvana t-shirt or something like that. Like
that would, if it was something like, look, you get the opportunity to come down, you pay this $600 and you get to gamble. You get your truck or you can have an upgraded version or upgraded, whatever. That might've been worth the $600. You're like, look, you can pay $600. You get at worst, you get your truck, but
like you could get like a brand new Ford 150, or you could, or any other of these 5 cars.
Yeah. Like, that would be interesting. That would be worth the $600. You know what I mean? Like, dude, if I knew that I was like
imagine if you got like a 3 Series BMW. It's like you went there, like this pickup truck's gonna be great. I can load stuff into it. It's like, oh, but you put the coin in. It's like, Ben, this car's worth $5,000 more than your car. Congratulations, you got a BMW. It's like, I can't even put my kids in there.
Yeah. No, that would be frustrating. But no. So I went with the delivery route and was supposed to get it last Thursday or yesterday. Was the first delivery date we had was Thursday, the 13th, right? That was yesterday. And Debbie, in all her, she didn't mean to, obviously. It wasn't like she meant to do this, but she was trying to add her name to the title or something. And she went, because you can only, anyways, she was trying to do something. It didn't work out. She lost our delivery date. So we got pushed to Saturday. I was like freaking livid, I have to wait 2 more days. You know what I mean? Like I was, totally being unreasonable and,
So the car comes tomorrow?
It was supposed to.
Oh, wait. Now when's it come?
So it's supposed to come tomorrow. I'm all jazzed this morning. I woke up. I'm like, dude, tomorrow's the day. Get the new truck. Debbie rolls over and goes, babe, bad news. I'm like, what? She goes, I got an email from Carvana and the delivery date's been changed. I was like, what? I'm like, all right, well,
when is it
probably a day. They're late, running late, something. 6 days. I don't get it till next Thursday. I'm like, what? So it's been.
They had to have sold a lot of cars, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, they said it's some sort of. I called him. You better believe I called him this morning, and the guy came on, and obviously, he has the worst job ever dealing with people like me who are irritated that they're not going to get their car on time. So he's, doing all he can to, like calm me down and whatnot. And I'm giving him a hard time because I'm frustrated and, it's just, I always do the same thing. I always know going into the conversation that I have no chance of changing the outcome. You know what I mean? But I still go into it and have and then after ranting for, a minute or two, I then shut myself down and go, look, I understand that you can't help me. I just needed to say that. I just,
it kind of reminds me of the best relationship advice I've gotten in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
which is like when I'm talking to my wife and I'm upset, or she's telling me something to say. Sometimes we'll just ask the question real quick, like, "Hey, do you want to talk about this, or you just need to vent?" Right? You just needed to vent, right?
I just needed to vent. I knew nothing was going to come of it. I had a previous conversation. The first time we lost our date, I called and I complained, and the guy told me, "Look, there's nothing I can do. Like, I can't help you. When the dates are gone, they're gone." So I knew calling this morning that I was going to get the same damn response. But look, I had to vent. You're right. That's what it was. I had to vent. So
see, I tried that with Verizon, and it went the opposite direction. I tried to complain, and they're like, "There's nothing we can do." And I was like, "Well, fine, I'll just switch services." And they're like, "Okay, we have like 10 million customers, sir. It's fine."
that whole like threatening to leave Amazon, AT&T or Verizon or, DirecTV, like threatening, "Oh, I'm going to take my business to Spectrum." They're like, "All right, see you later."
Yeah. Trying to leave Comcast, and they're like, "That's what your mom said." I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Like, when can we come pick up our boxes? That's basically what they ask you. You know what I mean? Like,
no, like Comcast is like, "Well, you have to drop the boxes off." I'm like, "Oh, come on, man. Like, you're going to make me come to your store and then wait in line to give you this garbage?" I'm like, "I just want to throw it through your window."
Yeah.
So
add injury to insult. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So what's been, so what else has been going on? What's going on in the shop this week?
Shop time this week has been interesting. Just because of the first few days of the week, what day was it? Wednesday, I delivered cutting boards.
How many?
Was that Tuesday? I had a group. I have a guy who does a monthly order with me for his closing gifts. He's a real estate guy. And so I do those, and I did 6 for him this last order, 6 boards engraved with the client's name and his logo on it. And so I delivered those at the beginning of the week. And then I've just been kind of doing little things here and there. I had a pig board I made out of the scraps of all these ingrain boards that I made recently. I had a ton of scraps and cutoffs for these things. So I put together this little pig template board that I made. It's pretty cool. I like it. And then what else have I done? Oh, I ordered, I wanted to, remember I told you I wanted to start doing bandsaw boxes. And so I quickly realized that I don't have the right bandsaw blade to cut bandsaw boxes. So I ordered a new one, and I got I ordered it for my smaller bandsaw, right? So I'm leaving the resaw blade on the big one, but the smaller bandsaw, I'm going to change out. I already have a 3/8 inch blade on it, but that's still too thick to do the tight radius stuff that I want to do with the bandsaw boxes. So I went with 3/16 4 TPI.
4 or 14?
4. Wait,
I don't think that's right.
Is that not right?
4 teeth per inch on a blade that small. I feel like it would snap. I think you thinking 14.
Maybe I'm thinking 14. Hold on. Let me look at my Amazon order. But regardless, I bought that blade. It's supposed to come tomorrow, and it is 4 TPI. That's what it says.
4 teeth per inch.
That's what it says.
Right. I can't wait to see how this thing looks. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
It's like sounds like a tiny.
It's tiny.
It sounds like a tiny resaw blade. Is what it sounds like. But
yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I was watching Prosciutto's video, and I think that's basically what he told me he uses. So skip.
I mean, That dude is known for his bandsaw antics, so that's a good move. Did you start gluing up the blanks for the bandsaw boxes yet?
I did. I have one blank that I had these two cut off pieces of one of the boards I made, and I took it and I put it together. Hold on, I can grab it and show it to you. It's right here.
Yeah. There he goes. He's gone. He's back.
So I went to cut. Here's the thing: is I went to cut it yesterday. I glued these two sections together, right? So.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And then I cut. I'm just a moron sometimes. I decided before I realized I didn't have a blade small enough. Because I thought for some reason on my smaller one, I had the 3/8 inch. I thought that would be small enough to cut the radius I need, but it's not. And so I glued this together, and then I went to my bigger bandsaw, the Jet, and I cut the back off. Right. And I was thinking, okay, I'll cut the back off because that's the next move, right? You cut the back off. And then I went to the other bandsaw and I started cutting the pocket. And as I got to the end and I was trying to make my radius, I couldn't make it. It wasn't tight. It was too tight. You know what I mean? Too thick of a blade. So I just backed it out and then I just cut it off with the miter saw. And I'm just going to start over when I get my regular bandsaw blade. So then I'll just end up cutting this back already. It's already a little shorter than the rest of the block, obviously. So I'll cut that off and I'll just use it as the backer of the new thing. So anyways, long story short, I got a new blade. I'm excited. Well, I don't have it yet, but I ordered it and I'm excited to try and make some of these bandsaw boxes. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Do you, yeah, well, I was gonna say I was gonna make a joke about your car not being here on time. I was like, oh, the blade's gonna make it pretty quick, huh? Too bad your car doesn't make it that quick, huh?
Don't hold back, bro. Make those jokes.
Well, you seem pretty sensitive about the car not being there. So.
I dude, look, man, it is. I am upset about it, but that doesn't mean it's not funny. Yeah, so that's basically.
I'm still hung up. I've never met anyone who bought a car online before, so I'm totally fascinated with your experience about this.
Yeah, well, I mean, first time doing it, so I'm excited. I did like the idea of not going down and dealing with the whole haggling and back and forth of it and everything like that. That was nice. You know what I mean? That was just the fact that, okay, here's the price. This is basically what you're going to pay. This is, you look it up compared to the other prices around, and everything's so damn expensive right now. Anyways, look, any used car is just freaking through the roof. You know what I mean? There's like no cheap. There's no like, hey, I'm going to go buy a $15,000 truck anymore. There's none of that. You know what I mean? All new cars and used cars the prices are through the roof, man. It's crazy.
Dude, I used to buy cars like every 3 years, right? I leased them, right? I'd turn them in and get a new one,
Yeah.
And then when I met my wife, she was like, that is stupid. We're not doing that anymore. So the first vehicle we bought together was our Jeep, right? And like that Jeep is a 2013. So we bought it in 2012. The Jeep is 9 years old now. I've never owned a vehicle more than 3 years. So I've had this vehicle 3 times as long as I've had any others, but I love it because we don't have any payments, right? And like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, maybe the Jeep's got another year or 2 left in it. But after hearing what people are going through with these car stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I need to get the oil change. I need to get, rotate the spark plugs. I don't know what I got to do. I just got to keep this thing on the road for at least another 2 more years until hopefully this swings back the other way. Cause this is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. Like, honestly, I mean, you can get a car. Like if I didn't care, about what I was driving as far as like usage of what it was. If it was just a vehicle to get me from point A to point B, I could, and I didn't need, everything I needed for the truck. You can get a car for 15 grand. You know what I mean? You can get like some small, whatever, used car for like 15 grand, but anything that you really want, any bigger vehicles, any trucks, the SUVs, anything like that, they're just all 30 grand. You know what I mean? That's just, it's like 30 grand, like 25, 28, 29, 30, 35. Like and they're 10-year-old cars, man. It's
Dude,
nuts.
You should have looked at a dually. I have a friend of mine who he lived out in Charlotte. my roommate from college.
Yeah.
And he just sold his house, and he decided that they're going to homeschool their kids and buy a dually and a fifth wheel trailer, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to drive around the country, and that's how they're going to live from now on. They're not going to have a home anymore.
You know what?
But
they need to talk to my friends, because my friends literally just did that.
For real?
They literally just went through that. I have a couple of family friends of ours. My best friend's sister, basically, who it is, her husband, their 2 kids. They sold their house. They bought an RV or a fifth wheel. I mean, it's exactly the same. They bought a truck. They bought a fifth wheel. They sold their house. They're going to go on the road. They run a family business. She owns a nail polish company, so we can do it from anywhere. We can sell from anywhere on the road.
Is it working out?
They're now in Texas, and they are selling their RV, selling their trailer. They've basically decided that's not the life that they want to live, because it's not very fun. Like, it's fun for a couple months, and then you realize we are now living in a trailer in trailer parks. And and the people that this is basically what my buddy said. All those people you hear about who are, QAnon fans and who are, super, just sketchy people that you hear all these stories about these types of people, but you don't ever know them because they don't live in normal society. This is where those people live. These people who live in these RVs, in these, who are nomads, and they're just crazy people. So he's like, you get to know, and he's like, it's all basically a luck of the draw. You could be parked next to a nice family who's living on the road or whatever, and then or you could be parked next to Vietnam vet dude who's outside cleaning his shotguns, and whatever. He's like, it's like it's hit and miss, dude.
I think that, like, my buddy who's doing it is like, that's probably something that he'll be well equipped to deal with, because he works in Charlotte, but he was living in South Carolina. So, like, he's used to being around those types of people. He's not going to go through the culture shock,
Yeah.
But I do worry about him.
No, I mean, and dude, like I said, they started an Instagram page. They were like super, super excited about it at the beginning, and they, for the first couple of months, it was like, they were like, posting all these cool photos from these different places, and they were, going to these cool places. And then, but
where in Texas did they end up?
Waco.
Because a lot of people who believe that, aren't they in Texas?
Yeah, probably.
They didn't end up like in a super liberal area, right?
No, it's not that. And it was just, and it's not even about like their political beliefs or anything like that. It's just more just like, it's just, people who like those types of people who live in trailer parks and stuff, and like travel the country, and are, not all of them, obviously. I'm speaking in generalities, you know what I mean? Like, but like, it's just an interesting group of people who live that way. You know what I mean? So like, it's, these two thought that they were like that's the other funny part about it, right? They're like the free thinkers and the super liberal, like, or like, just like, they thought they were going to find their people. And so, you know what I mean? Like, they're like-minded or whatever, like free, like live it. And they found that's not the case.
I don't think I've ever been to a trailer park before. Have you been to a trailer park?
Yeah, I've only been, let me rephrase that. I've only been to the one that they were staying at when I did work for them. I built these in their trailer. I built them 2 custom bed rails for their kids' beds. One was a castle, one was a race car, and they turned out really cool, actually. But I went to their place they were staying. It's like an RV park, you know what I mean? Like and it's exactly what it is. Just a bunch of people with, fifth wheels and RVs, and they're all stacked right next to each other, and it's crazy. It's yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting way to live, man. I don't know. I don't think I could do it. You know what I mean? I think I'd get sick of being in a tiny little trailer. But that's just me.
I don't know, man. We just went from a 2,500 square foot house to like a 3,500 square foot house. And like, I can't even know. I don't even know what to do with all this space.
Do you have
everybody's got their own room. I have 3 rooms in this house to myself.
You have empty rooms?
No, we don't have any empty rooms, but like I took over 1 bedroom as an office. There's a room in the basement. I made an epoxy room, and then I took over the garage, obviously.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. There's 1 spare bedroom in the house, and that's your office.
Yeah, because my wife is permanently work from home. So she needs a home office. I have an office for my job, but I like having a home office / whatever the heck it's becoming, maker studio. Next week, you'll probably see like foam on the walls to like help make the audio like sound better in here. Or maybe I'll turn my closet into a recording studio.
No. But that's cool.
What's Dad doing? He's in the closet again.
Yeah. Hey, Luke, come out of the closet.
Yeah.
You scream
my Beretta.
Yeah, but so what's going on in your shop? We haven't even talked about what you're doing.
Oh man, my new strategy I think is working so far, which is to not do as much random stuff and more stay focused on things that are going to help me get to where I want to be, if that makes sense. So this week, I made 2 cutting boards, which I'll finish them this weekend. One is for my brother-in-law, and the other one I sold, which is cool because this will be the second cutting board I've actually sold.
Oh, it's already sold.
Yeah, it's
nice.
already sold.
Very cool.
I messaged that. So if you saw on my Instagram, I tried this cross hatch thing, which on one of the boards I think looks great. On the other board, I thought looked like crap. So I cut it out, and I had this piece of white oak. So I just took. It was roughly the same thickness as the part I cut out. So I cut off. Took me like 3 slices, but I put that in where the other one was before. And I'm going to go take that out of the clamps, and then I got to flatten both of them, sand them, and put finish on them. But yeah, so I sold a cutting board. I got approached by doing a commission piece for my old job. The radio station wants me to make some QR code sign.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, how much would we have paid for this back in the day? So like in my head, I told them like between 250 and 500, and they didn't say anything. So like now when they call back, I'm probably gonna be like, I think it might be 750. I don't know. I'm gonna see how much I can get out of them.
Yeah.
Look, they like me. So yeah. So I got that cooking. I'm putting the final wraps on my pattern plywood mallets. That process has been dialed in. And
how the molds
I'm making
turn out.
a box for a friend. I haven't epoxied them together yet, so they're still split in half. I gotta do that today.
No. I said, how'd the molds come out for your mallet smashing? The molds that were in your
ice molds.
The ice molds, sorry. The ice molds.
I haven't pulled them out yet. They're still in my garage freezer. I wanted to give them like more than 24 hours in there to freeze all the way through, which I think they're going to be frozen by now. But I did peek in there yesterday, and I think I'm going to have some weird shapes. I was honestly thinking, like, can I cut these on my bandsaw?
Yeah.
Right? Like, could I resaw ice?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, what happens if like water gets into it?
Gets into what?
Like the ice shavings are going to fly everywhere, right? So like that means my whole entire cast iron top of my bandsaw will be wet. And if it's wet, that like
I mean,
I don't know.
You could dry it. You have an air compressor. You could blow it dry. You know what I mean? There's ways around.
Yeah, but like if water drips down the blade and gets on the wheel and then gets in, like I'm afraid it's going to get into places.
Well, yeah. I mean,
that I don't want it to go.
There you go. I mean, it's that easy. You don't want to use your bandsaw. I was just saying it's a possibility. You could use it. It would work.
I could. So I'm going to unwrap those today to see how they look.
For context, we're talking about the molds that he's going to use for smashing with his big giant plywood sledgehammers that he's been making.
Yeah, and honestly, the part that I'm little concerned about with now is that these blocks that I made to break, these ice blocks, originally I wanted to make them like an inch thick because I made like 6 or 7 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if I'm going to smash these things, like I want it to go all the way through them, right? And explode and go everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was so annoyed and frustrated by the process that I made each of them like almost 2 inches thick, right?
Oh, wow.
So they are beefy. So they're like, each one of them is like 7 inches by like 10 inches and like 2 inches thick.
Well, here's my question for you. You have 2 sledgehammers. You have your original that you made, and then you have the new one.
Yeah.
Are you going to first test the ice? I would suggest maybe testing one of the 2 inchers with your original one, just to see, how that works. If you can smash through it, then obviously you're good to go. If that one breaks, then if your plywood, your original mallet breaks from that, then obviously maybe you go a different route. But at least you have a tester option,
Yeah, that's a good idea. But I was just gonna go for it. I was just gonna look honestly, like if that thing explodes, like it's probably gonna be great content, right?
True.
I'll be sad, but I have faith in my abilities. I mean, it's a precarious situation because the mallet is not solid, right? Like the sledgehammer, the rainbow one, it has a couple spots where it completely cracked through.
Okay.
So it's held it is at this point, like the head of it is like 90% glue and epoxy and like 10% wood. So as long as the head stays on the handle, I think it's going to do some serious damage.
Yeah.
If the head flies off, then I'll probably revert to the backup one to use it. But I built this thing to smash things, and I did secure a tree stump, which is nice.
Oh, nice.
Stu from Yellow Mug is gonna lend me one of his tree stumps.
Nice.
And
very
then
cool.
I have some cinder blocks that I'm gonna try to break with it. And then I have what's the other thing I used? I'm gonna get like a bunch of like fruits and vegetables and see if I can find like a watermelon. So
nice.
And I'm gonna set up like at least 3 cameras. I have 2 old iPhone 6S's that I'm gonna set up, which should get me at least good enough like for a quick cut of a different angle.
Yeah.
Of the smashing. I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have like 2 cameras on the side. I'm going to have the front facing camera. Like I'm going to really, this video is really pushing me all the way on my abilities of this. So, and it's, we'll see what happens, man. I hope to do it this weekend. I have a great idea for teasing it too, which will drive people crazy. So.
You're like the Evel Knievel of woodworking. You know what I mean? Like you just want to push the limits and just like, if you're not going Mach, what them use that quote from, what's the Top Gun? If you're not going Mach 2 with your hair on fire, you're just not satisfied. You know what I mean?
Basically, like, cause like, there's a lot of great woodworkers out there, and I think I'm a decent woodworker. I'm creative, but like my technical skills need a lot of practice.
Well, you've only been doing this for a couple of years, right? You've only been woodworking.
Yeah, like 2 years.
Yeah.
And like so yeah, so 2.5. I don't know.
We're in the same boat. I mean, I've only been doing it for a couple of years too. So I mean,
but your stuff looks nice. Like,
you know what it is? I was literally just thinking about this. I think that you need a team. You need a couple people in your garage that you can just turn to and be like, "These are my ideas. I'm gonna do this," and then they can be like, "Whoa!" Like, let's stop and think about this for a second, Luke, and talk about it with you. And I just don't think you have that team of. I don't think you've put that team.
There's
in place.
There's nobody. And look, the only person who could play that role that I would actually listen to is my wife.
Yeah,
and she's not interested in what goes on in the shop. So like I'll ask her opinions, and she'll be very helpful. But she's not gonna like come out and be like, "What are you doing?" You know, the only time recently that she was like, "You need to stay focused," is that I watched that new video by Mark Alm where he did the pattern plywood handle and the hatchet.
Oh,
right?
dude, that thing looks sick.
And I immediately went out and bought a hatchet on eBay. And the funny part is that when I was looking at it, my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well," I was like, saw this video and he made this really cool handle on for this hatchet, and I want to do one. And she's like, "That has nothing to do with anything that you said you're working on right now. That's just going to be a distraction." And I was like, yeah. Cool. Next week's my birthday anyways. I'm just buying it. So
see,
I'm not listening.
You're not listening to you're not listening to anybody. If you're not listening to your wife, you're not listening to anybody.
I mean, look, if I am going to listen to somebody, it's going to be her. And I think it drives people crazy because like, I'm interested in hearing what other people's thoughts and ideas are. And sometimes I'll do them, but it's rarely exactly how somebody said to do it. Most of the time it's like, well, that's what you told me to do. But I think I could put my own twist on it and make it a little bit more interesting for me. And then it doesn't like work later. And I'm like, well, that is probably.
I mean, look, I have firsthand experience being in conversations with you and Dre from Crafts with Dre, of her explaining exactly how to do epoxy stuff with you. And then I will have a conversation with you the next day. And I'll be like, "Hey, how'd it go?" Da-da-da-da-da. And you'll be like, "I didn't do anything Dre told me to do. And I did it completely different."
And it didn't work. So like when
work.
I actually do, no, it didn't. And like, so if I actually listen to her, it works out. And epoxy is like the perfect example.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, maybe you should talk to Total Boat." And I reached out to Total Boat and I was asking them questions and they're like, "Well, here's how you should do it." And I was like, "But how about doing it like this?" And they're like, "Yeah, that won't work." I'm like, "Are you sure?" They're like, "Yeah, I'm positive your idea won't work." I'm like, okay. I got you. So,
and then what's the percentage of times that you do it your way anyways?
With epoxy, 0.
Okay.
I don't.
You've learned to.
Like, I do a lot of things my way just because somebody said, "Hey, you can't do it like that." But like with epoxy, I follow the instructions. So.
Yeah, and don't listen to this guy. He makes beautiful things, dude. He makes gorgeous things. Those 2 cutting boards that you just sold, or did you sell? Yeah, you sold them to your buddy with the inlays in them, dude. Dude, those things were freaking gorgeous, dude. Like, and your trays that you've made that are gorgeous. Like, don't listen to this guy. He just doesn't. I would say your problem is, Luke, you're just impatient. And most of the time, it's like the day you were making those cutting boards that we were just talking about with the inlays. You started them. I was so vivid, dude. It wasn't that long ago, but I just remember the conversation. You're like, "I'm going to start these inlays," and you started the inlays. And you're like, "I'm just going to wait I have to wait like a half hour for them to dry. I'm just going to go move this one thing in my shop."
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to move this one thing and then I'll come back to these cutting boards. And it was like 3 days. It was like the SpongeBob thing. 400
2 weeks.
2 weeks later or whatever, you finally get back to the cutting boards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I remodeled my shop, dude.
You did. Which was needed. I mean, because you moved into that shop and hadn't done very much. I mean, you did a lot at the very beginning, obviously, but then you kind of.
I was like working out of boxes, dude. It was crazy.
You just drove. But the thing is, you did all the insulation and the plywood and everything in there, and then you just brought all your stuff in, threw it on your benches, and then just started doing projects. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Dude, like my chisels were on my bench underneath a pile of stuff for months.
Yeah, it looks great in there now, though, man. You've really dialed it in. And that's part of my strategy for this year is more shop improvements. So I'm either going to make things that are going to move my channels forward or make me money. That's really what I'm focused on. Like, and there will be some experiments in there because people love. Like, I think I understand why people follow me, and because I challenge myself and I try wild shit all the time, people like that. And I also combine other people's ideas. Like, so, like this ice tray thing was not my idea. I saw Wesley Treat do it, but he did it in a video where he was seeing ice, which, by the way, I would never do because I'd be so nervous about an ice chip like flying up into my router and then like short circuiting, like I'd be so nervous, dude. Ice chips on my MDF wasteboard. Like it seems so weird though. It seems so off brand for you to be worried about something like that. Like, I feel like you would be like the one who's like, let's do it. Bring in the ice. Let's like, it just seems. I mean,
I think where I draw the line is that like I've had enough catastrophes in my experiments that I draw the line at, will I have to replace this tool? Right. Yeah. And in my head, if there's more than like a 20% chance that I could have to replace that tool, I'm like, even me, I'll tell myself like, bro, you should think of something else that's equally crazy that won't cost you $1,500.
See, this is the side of Luke in the Garage I don't want to know about. You know what I mean? I don't want to know about the sensible, responsible, thinking guy who thinks things out ahead of time. Like, that's not the guy.
I'm passing on that idea to move on to a different dumb idea. Oh, like okay. It's not like I'm like leaving that idea and like, well, I'm just going to focus on cutting boards for now. I'm like, no, that's not happening. I still. Like, I think the one cutting board that I sold most recently is my most normal looking cutting board. But it was only because it was a failed experiment to begin with. So, whereas like the other ones, like it's sketchy. And look, dude, I've got a really sketchy build coming up next. So like, no problem, bro. Like,
I'm all in. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm a fan of yours, man. That's how this all started, dude. Okay, dude. So this has been a lot going on. So I can't wait to see what happens with your car, your car being delivered. I really hope we're probably gonna have another show before that happens. So your excitement.
Fuck you, dude. I don't want that to happen.
Well, like if we record on Friday and you get it on Saturday, the problem is if we have 2 more shows before that. Then
my God, don't even bring that up. No, but yeah, this was fun. This was fun, dude. We'll fill you in on those details and what happened in the shop the rest of this week. Maybe Luke finished those cutting boards. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he started another 3-week project in between. Who knows? We'll let you know.
Yeah, and if you guys want to support the podcast, you can follow us on our social media. You can find me, Luke, anywhere at Luke in the Garage, and Ben.
I'm at Conroy Creations, anywhere that you can find me. There you go.
And we don't have a Patreon or any merch, so you can just Venmo us cash.
Yeah. Stay tuned for that though, because I see all these people getting money for this stuff, and I'm like, we need to get money for this stuff.
Dude, if I could replace my income with just being myself, that's the dream.
Yeah. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we're out of here.
Thanks, everyone. We're out of here. Later.
Later.